Bring it right there. All right, everybody, how's it going? Let's be seated, please. Got to take control of this crowd. Everybody come in and have a seat. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming. It's a nice crowd here tonight. And you get to endure me for the next hour or so as your MC. And but before we really get started, I do want to, the great thing about Rotary and the fellowship and everything is all the wonderful things that are done throughout the community and all that stuff. But there's also some sad parts to it, especially when we lose Rotarians. And we've lost a couple over the last few years. And I just want to have a moment of silence for Jack Turner, Phil, and Matt Mahaley. Okay, very good. Thanks everybody for that. And I guess I do want to recognize a couple of special guests here tonight. And we have Barbara Thompson right here. Barbara, stand on up. And we also have Jackie Turner is here as well. Jackie. Right over there. Okay, for the invocation tonight is, as the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club embarks on its next century, that's correct, the next century, this club has been a beacon of service. A few notable people have talked about the importance of service. Quote, "Only a life lived for others is worth living." That was by Albert Einstein. "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve." That's Martin Luther King Jr. "The only ones among us who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve." Albert Schweitzer. And this by Mother Teresa. "The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. And the fruit of service is peace." So fellow Rotarians, we want to thank Rich Wyrick for his service the past year. Rich was just here a little bit ago. Hope you had a chance to tell him thank you. If not, at the next Rotary meeting, he did have to leave. And so we thank him for his service. And we also thank President Phil Brockman for his service in the year ahead. So we are also joyful for the ideal of service to others. We are grateful for the blessings resting upon our being together and upon all our efforts as we seek to serve. We are caring about our responsibilities to serve and to do them nobly, with dignity and with honor. So as we join together with this food and this fellowship, let us remember that life is a gift. Every day is a new day filled with awesome potential for service and to truly enjoy friendship, love, family, and community. So we say amen. All right. So let me just see, we're not quite ready for dinner here. They had invocation on the agenda at 6:45 and dinner at 6:55. So I wasn't going to take 10 minutes for the invocation, but since we do have a few extra minutes here, I'm just going to go out in the crowd. Well, I know it, but that was a program. So anyway, let's go out in the crowd here and see, the one thing about these type of events is sometimes we don't really describe what the dress code is, correct? There's always a question about what you should wear to a Rotary. And now let's take Mike Janicki as an example here. This is perfectly appropriate dress for today. All right. Did you dress him, though? That's the question. No? All right. And then you come over here where, you know, I've got my suit and my tie on, and that's just because I was going to be MC, so that's appropriate for that. But over here is Stevie Huggins. Now, Stevie Huggins, if he is wearing a suit coat, you know that he has raised the bar as far as what the dress code is today. All right, let's give Stevie a big hand over there. So now, then there's folks that have shorts on. So go ahead and stand up here. All right, Kevin Kesty. No, I'm going to get to you for a minute. Just sit down over there. Just sit down. And compare this with his lovely wife, Joellen here. Now stand up, Joellen. See, now look at that. Now that is about as different as you can get right there. So who else has got shorts on over here anyway? Well, the shoes is, okay, well, anyway, where's Chief Tucker at anyway? Everyone stand up, Chief. You don't have your, who did? What? Are you, really? Do you got shorts on? Huh? Don't stand up then, all right? Just forget about it. Now this over here. Hey, how are you? This guy tried to kill me on the golf course the other day. Did you know that? Anyway, I'm not going to tell the story. Stand up, come on. Now I had a conversation. Now, you know, Eric Johnson over here, have him stand up. He asked me today, does dress code khakis and a Hawaiian shirt? I said, that's perfectly fine. And he said, if anybody underdresses him, the question we have for you is, did you look at yourself in the mirror before you came? Okay, is that?
Yes, the wife approved. The Rotary member.
All right, well, let's give him a big hand for showing up. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's see, is dinner ready yet? What? No, I'm gonna come up here and do something else, so. All right, let's do, before dinner's going to be ready here, let's introduce the head table up here. So our incoming president is, and his wife is, we got Phil and Tamara Brockman right down there. And we have the immediate past president and his wife. We got Mike Mosier and Shelley Mosier right there. Okay, the next person here, does anybody recognize this guy? When's the last time we've seen him anyway? Huh? Judge Brian Stiles right there. Let's give him a hand. And we got Rich and Betta Spelelli. They weren't able to, Rich was here earlier, so they are not here. And then the last person here is my lovely wife, Catherine Stiles, right there. Okay, y'all want to see my wife jump here? Watch this. Okay. Anyway, great dinner, right? So we have right over here the folks from LaConner Seafood and Prime Rib, and they want to tell it's more than just prime rib, it's steak and everything else. Right there, let's give them a nice hand. And I've been to like 3 events where they've served in the last couple of months, and it's been fantastic every time. So congratulations, and we'll probably be hired again. So, all right. So right now we are going to turn to past presidents. So anybody in the room that's been a past president, I would like you to stand up. All right, look at this group. Okay, and now we're going to call on Christine Kilcutt. Is Christine here? Christine Kilcup, right here. She is going to give out perfect attendance. And I understand she has been working day and night and printing off these certificates. Always. Here she is.
Okay. I don't think so. So I think that every year I say that I'm extremely disappointed in the attendance of our club. And this year is no different. I know that we're just coming out of a pandemic. So I'll give you guys some grace. It's fine. I actually am really excited because I think that there's like 20 more perfect attendance awards here than there were last year. Mostly because of a group of gentlemen who get together on Tuesday mornings and have breakfast. So the Rusty Zippers, you guys really bolstered the perfect attendance this year. So thank you. You don't have to come up. I'll get the awards to you. I printed them and Rich hasn't had a chance to sign them. So we'll get his signature on them and then we'll get them to you. So if you want to just stand up when I call your name for perfect attendance, it says perfect attendance award this certificate is presented to your name here in recognition of your devotion to Rotary and its principles as exemplified by your perfect attendance dated this first day of July 2022. So you guys that have perfect attendance, thank you. You make my job very easy because I know I can just click on your name every week. So first is Phil Brockman. Becky Eldey. Mike Janicki. Teak Martin. Steve Massey. John Maturin. Mike Mosier. Mark Nelson. Chuck Rule. And I'm really excited about this one because he took a couple years break from the club. And so I'm very excited that he's on this list. John Schmidt. Mark Venn. Tim Howland. Chris Johnston. Sheena Burns, and I have to say that Sheena has had perfect attendance the entire time that she has been a Rotarian. So Carl Garrison. And this last one, it's really crazy because I'm the club secretary and I have perfect attendance. So thank you guys all for showing up and yes. Three. You need three. Three for a quorum, and then you just have to email the secretary. And you just have to discuss something related to Rotary. You could just be like, hey, I'm in Rotary, you're in Rotary. And I mean, maybe Sheena is not going to be as lenient as I am, but anything Rotary, three people talk about something Rotary. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Christine, for all the work for that. Back to the dress code. I can't, when I was having people go back to dinner, I was able to see some other folks out here. So, I picked on Chief Tucker, which is probably a bad idea since he's usually packing a gun, but the new chief that's coming in, where is he at? Stand up. Come on. Look at that. Come on. Our new police chief right there. Perfect. Okay, now this is a special little section here of our meeting tonight, and we get to recognize members based on their longevity with the club. So I'm going to call off some names, and when I call off your name, I want you to stand up. And so this is for members that have been a member of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club for 10 or more years, at least 10 up to about 20. So we have Bruce Berglund, Lynn Tucker, stand on up, Jim Dillon, Curtis Melder, Ruth Richardson, Joe Jones, Aldi Klajari, Jeff McCann, Steve Massey, John Matarin, Mark Nielsen, Nick Van Jarsveld, Mark Venn, and Mike and Ellen Schweigert. Stand on up. 10 plus years right there. And they look great, don't they? So now 20 plus years. Bill McCann right here. Mike Mosier, John Schmidt, David Bricka, Becky Elde, Carl Garrison, Mike Janicki, Brian Gansky, Rod Hall, Daryl Heisler. No, yet there's more. There's more here. Steve Huggins, Travis Heisman, Rick Limley, Teek Martin, Avery Martin, Chuck Rule, and Kyle Rutherford. That's 20 years now. And they're still looking great too. 30 plus years. That's 30 years. Myself, can you believe that? I don't even look 30, right? Rick Tesrick, Mike Crawford, John Janicki, right over there. Keith Sorsted, Louis Riqua, Neil Rothenbuehler, and Brian Stiles, 30 plus years right there. He really did show up to a meeting or two at some point, so. Okay, now, and still looking pretty good, a little dicey now, but 40 plus years. Right there, Don Ostrom. Don, stand up. Now, Don, I'm going to tell the story on you right now. So 13 years ago, back in 2008, maybe 14 years ago, a group of Rotarians flew down to Guatemala for a mission trip, and we worked on putting in stoves for a little village in Guatemala. And Don and Joan went on that trip, myself, Jeff McCann, Teek Martin, who had a little goodie bag to keep us all healthy, and a few other people. I maybe forgot who they were, but Don, we have one story about Don is that towards the end of the trip, we're at this little resort called Tikal, which is a Mayan ruin. And we're doing some trails and doing some other things, and we can't find where Don is at. So we all go back to the resort area, and on the front step in a chair, Don is sitting in the chair, 2 beers in his hand, and sound asleep. Now, Don is 90 years old now, if I'm not mistaken. So he took this trip when he was like 77 years old. And so I don't care whether he was sleeping with 2 beers or not. That was fantastic. Give him a big hand for that. Okay, the other 40 plus person is Dan Sims. Dan's not here tonight? Okay, 40 plus years in Rotary, and they're still looking fantastic. And now we got 50 plus years. That's 50 years ago. So I think these 2 gentlemen were brought into the club, and I think in 1971 and 1972. So how many people were not even alive in 1971? Look at all the hands. Okay, and these guys are just absolutely fantastic. We've got Daryl Skiles in the back and Les Huggins up here in the front. So earlier when I talked about the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club being a beacon of service, these two gentlemen are the epitome of that. So let's give them another hand. That's just fantastic. So. Okay, when I saw this on the agenda, you see who's getting up over here. We have, and I always debate about whether we give Mike Janicki the microphone or not, but okay, I want to look at the clock. They said he's got 10 minutes, but I don't think he's going to come close to that. So Mike Janicki is going to come up and give us a presentation on 100 years of Sedro Woolley Rotary. Here he is, Mike Janicki.
So, you know, at my age, the best clock is if you drink a beer, you're going to be done in 10 minutes because you got to go to the bathroom. So that's the clock we're using. So here we go. First of all, you know, when you do a speech like this, you have to give credit to the people who helped you. And so I called Ruth today and I says, Ruth, listen, I've only had one day to put this thing, you know, this whatever we're going to call it tonight together. I need some help. And she says, don't call me, call Dave Bricka. So I called Dave Bricka, and of course, Dave Bricka is talking at 100 miles an hour, and he knows every event that's happened since 1900. And so I got like 3 things written down, and then he says, you know, I got to go to a meeting. So that was it. And so I was going to call John to help me with this thing. And, you know, having a brother like John is great, but, you know, he just ad libs. You don't know what's going to happen. So I started writing this thing, and I got it here somewhere. If I can open my, whatever this thing is. Yeah, just a second. Oh, here they are. Okay. So I got this thing down, and then all of a sudden I realized most of the stuff I've got here is not really that accurate, right? And then he got Barb Thompson here. So Barb, you know, being 96 years old, is that right, Barb? 96, she knows all these people, right? So I said, so Barb, who was the first president of Rotary? So the postmaster of Sedro Woolley, Paul, and how do you say his last name? Rodius was the first guy. And so I just thought about, well, I knew this guy had a company called the English Timber Company. I figured, you know, they probably knew each other. And I read this book about, you know, logging and I thought they probably did all the same things. So they, Paul decided that he was going to be the first president and start Rotary in Sedro Woolley. And they were going to be more than just a group of people who sat in a room and smoked cigars and drank good scotch, because that's pretty much what most of the Rotary clubs did in 1922. So they decided they were going to have a baseball team, and they were going to go play other places. So they decided they were going to play the baseball team of Concrete and the baseball team of Mount Vernon. And, you know, in 1922, you got to think about, there was only 2 ways to get to Concrete. You either took the train or you took a steamship, you know, and so these were major efforts just to have a baseball team. So this is the kind of people that started Rotary in Sedro Woolley. They were get it done. And, oh, my thing that just went dead. So now I'm see. Oh, well, heck with it. So, you know, then, you know, we had a depression, and these Rotarians, you know, stepped up to the plate. They helped out whenever they could, because they were the mover and shakers of Sedro Woolley, and there was a lot of people that relied on them. These are people like, you know, the McIntyres, the Binghams, the Lemleys. I mean, when I went through this list, it's like it repeats itself every 50 or 60 years. The same people come up, and the Stendals were, a couple of them were mayors for, you know, and but they thought that Rotary was really a good thing. And you go on, and everything I could find, you know, Bingham Park, all these different parks, they got the Rotary symbols on them. So these guys did a lot of stuff, you know, in the first 50 years. The second 50 years was a little bit different, because we decided we'd start raising money to do big things. So we had an auction, and 50 years ago, you guys know how great we did on the auction, but that means for 50 years, we gave scholarships to people like John, you know, and I mean, probably Stephanie got one. I think Danielle got one. David Bricka got one. Probably several other people here got scholarships that I don't know about. You know, Sir Optimus gave me one. I didn't get a Rotary one, but you know, so, but they saw my potential, right? So, you know, and then like this building, right? This was like 1976, we start building this building, and you know, this, I think I've told this story before, but Tony Crosby and I got in trouble, and we had to do 8 hours of community service. So we packed shakes up onto the roof for 8 hours to do our community service, and got our name on the plaque. And I thought, man, that was good, you know? And so it just goes on. And then David told me this one. He goes, you guys remember when he was telling me this, he goes, you remember when you and I got sold as slaves? And I was thinking, I do remember that. So it was an item on the Rotary auction in 1977, Dave, 77, you could buy a slave for a day. So David, now tell me, who were the people that bought us, right? Yes, Clark, Todd, and Sally was the lady. And they made us work in this place over here somewhere, right, David, over that way? Oh, in Mount Vernon. Well, I knew it was a long ways away. I couldn't remember where it was. So we're working like, and we've been working for like 6-7 hours, and I'm thinking, God, I could take some water or something, right? Well, you know what they did is that wasn't politically correct. So they changed the name. Now it's the Rotary Work Party, right? But before that, it was just buy a slave. And so you have to realize that so much stuff has happened, you know, and we forget that we're just like on this wheel going around. See that wheel over there? You know, we're one of those cogs. We're only going to be there. I mean, thank God we got two guys who've been here 50 years. You know, I mean, I was just doing the math. I don't think I'm getting there. You know, so we have to think about, we're a short period that we can do an impact on what happens in Sedro Woolley. And I just think that we should be proud of what we've done. And I wrote a good quote here. I could probably get Stephanie to read it. She remembers it probably somewhere. But we weren't always this good. We weren't always the Rotary Club that we are today. I mean, 1930 something, David, what was the name of that place that they had the plays? The Dream Theater. We had to dress up guys to be girls in the play because no women were allowed in Rotary. So, you know, of course, you know, they got in drag, and someone asked these guys, right? Well, you know, you're going to be a woman today. You got to get dressed up. And of course, I think that's where that saying came from. Rotarians never say no, right? So they just did it. And, you know, and you know, that's kind of the way Rotarians were. And you know, then you start thinking about why can we say that we're the best Rotarian club in the universe, right? Because We are, right? Well, yeah. And so I start thinking about it and I go, well, we're the best Rotary Club in the universe because we're the most inclusive Rotary Club in the universe. Will allow loggers and doctors and attorneys in the same room, right? I mean, you know, and think about how much richer this club is because we have beautiful women. Oh, I can't say that, can I? Dang it. You know, but we're a rich community of workers, and our only goal, here's our only goal. Our only goal is to do more today than we did yesterday. And so the club has always grown because we never look backwards. So I can't remember what I had on here. There were some really great quotes. Stephanie, oh, I need a cup. I just need a cup here because Stephanie's giving me notes from the back. When I was president, she would sit right next to me and kick me under the table as I was going, and she wishes she was there right now to give me a good kick. But to the best Rotary Club in the universe for the last 100 years, to us. Thank you.
Mike Janicki, always entertaining. You just don't quite know what's coming out sometimes, but that's what we like, right? So now I'm going to call on Mike Mosier. Where'd Mike go?
I'm right here.
You're over there?
Standing right by you.
Oh, okay. All right, he's going to pass on a certificate here to Mr. Brockman. So here's Mike
There you
Mosier.
Got to raise this up a little bit. You know, they always say don't follow, what is it, kids and pets, and if you're in entertainment. And I think in the Rotary Club, you never follow Mike Janicki. But as Mike said, we are celebrating 100 years as a Rotary Club in Sedro Woolley, which is quite the accomplishment, just that in itself. But as Mike said, we are the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. But at this time, I'd like to have incoming President Phil come up here, please. I have a letter here that was written by Shekhar Mehta, who is the Rotary International President in 2021, 2022, current president. I'm going to read it to you. It's dated May 1st, 2022. It says, "Dear Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley members, I am honored to congratulate the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley, Washington, USA on its centennial anniversary. Since your club was chartered, you have made the commitment not only to represent Rotary in the community, but also to do significant, meaningful work from which your community will benefit. When we join Rotary, we make a commitment to Rotary values, to friendships, and to a life of service above self. Service is the rent we pay for the space we occupy on earth. And you should be proud of all that we have achieved together and the lives we will improve in the years ahead. All of the service that Rotary does, all the lives we change, all the children in the world who will never, ever get polio, all of this happens because we, joining together through Rotary, are strong. You have risen to many challenges through the years and met your obligations as presidents of this wonderful organization. Each Rotary Club is unique in its own way. By reaching this milestone, you have shown your commitment to our organization and to all that Rotary does and hopes to do. Congratulations once again on your 100 years. I know that you will continue to serve your community and beyond for many more years to come as we serve to change lives. Kindest regards, Shekhar Mehta." And we have a wonderful certificate that says honoring 100 years of membership, the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley, Washington, admitted May 1st, 1922. Phil?
Okay, on to page 2 here. So now we're going to go to one of those really highlights of the evening, and that is to award some Paul Harris Awards. So first up, I think, is Keith Wagner. What's that? Okay, first, I didn't say it on my list here, but Mike's going to talk about the everything.
Brock can't read. He's a lawyer and he can't read. I'm here to talk about the Paul Harris Award and what the Paul Harris Award is. Normally, Mark Venn would be up here doing this, but Mark Venn, in his infinite wisdom, decided to come down with COVID today. So Mark is home. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers that he has a quick recovery from COVID. The Paul Harris Award, for those of you that don't know who Paul Harris was, Paul Harris is the founder of Rotary. He started Rotary in, somebody help me out, I don't remember what year. 1905. It was him and some businessmen in Chicago, I believe. The Paul Harris Award is named after him, obviously, but it is given to Rotary members who embody the 4 things on that banner over there. And Rotary members, help me out here. What does it say? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it bring goodwill, better friendships, and will be beneficial to all concerned? The motto of Rotary is what? Service above self. So the Paul Harris is given every year to people who embody that motto. Now, there's 2 ways you can earn a Paul Harris Award. One of them is by donating to Rotary International. You can give X number of dollars and you will be awarded a Paul Harris Award. The Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley has chosen to honor our members in a different way. Rather than donating money and getting a Paul Harris Award, we choose people that embody those 4 values there and service above self. So every year we pick members within our club and with people within the community who embody those values. So this year we have 3 people we're recognizing tonight. We have a couple other members that we're going to be recognizing later on who weren't able to attend tonight. But this award is kind of the highlight of being a Rotarian. It means you are truly embodying what it means to be a Rotary. So at this time, I'd like to call Mr. Wagner up here, who is going to recognize our first recipient. Keith?
Okay, well, you notice nobody called my name for perfect attendance. And nobody called my name for longevity award, so I'm feeling a little bit, well, you know what kind of a Rotarian I am, not the greatest one. I am the senator for this district, and they say, you know what, there is one great thing about being a politician. They told me. But nobody told me what it is yet. So if you have the answer to that question, it'll be worth a little bit of money afterwards. So I love the way our club does Paul Harris Awards. Absolutely love it because it's earned. Oh, not for me. Because it's earned and it's based on that principle of service above self. So our first awardee tonight is somebody who I consider a friend and that I respect deeply. Probably ought to be a monument to her somewhere in the city, and I have some suggestions maybe later on. But I want to give you a little history from my own perspective. When my wife Gwen and I came back to Sedro Woolley in 2007, we were in the midst of the recession, and I wasn't in politics at that time. I know that the city was struggling and they had to make tough decisions. And frankly, it kind of showed at that time, you know, that they made tough decisions about things that were deferred in terms of our city. And I can remember spilling the coffee cup as I went over the railroad tracks, and the roads weren't great. And it was just a fact of life. The whole country was struggling. This person has had an impact on every single person in this city. Has had an impact on the health, has an impact on our infrastructure, has an impact on the image of our city. And I did a little misdirection with the gender pronoun earlier. I'm not really talking about a lady. And you're supposed to stretch these things out, but you can only do it so long when you start talking about specifics. So I'm talking about Mark Freiberger, our Public Works Director and professional engineer for the city. Mark has been responsible for an uncountable number of infrastructure improvements in this city. The streets look great, the roads look great, the sidewalks look great, and then there's the stuff that's underground. Believe me, that looks great too. Your sewer systems, your water systems. I don't know if you were expecting this, Mark. I hope not. I hope we have done a bit of subterfuge here. And I want to thank your family too, Ms. Freiberger and Danielle, because Mark's dedication certainly has had an impact on you. You can go by Sedro Woolley City Hall late at night, and if there's one light on, it's in Mark's office. And I know Mark is going to give credit to his staff, and I'm sure that is due, but it's been on you, Mark. All the improvements, the millions and tens of millions of dollars that Mark has leveraged because he knows how to use our little seed money that Sedro Woolley develops and leverage it through federal programs and state grants to bring back millions of dollars for projects like our roundabouts. And I'll tell you, I think, with the exception of the one by Schwab, which I don't love, but we learned along the way, I think Sedro Woolley's roundabouts are the best ones in the state. They've planned for our lifestyle here, for our logging trucks and the big loads that have to come down from Janicki's. So Mark, I'm going to pause here because our mayor would also like to praise your accolades a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you to come up and accept this award. Julia Johnson, our mayor.
Thank you, Keith. Actually, that was really a brilliant way to speak about Mark, and something that maybe you're not aware of when Mark is talking about these grants, these federal funds that Mark puts together. This is not something that is done in an afternoon or in a couple of days. A lot of these awards take hours and hours, and they take days. And sometimes they don't work out at all. Mark will get to the end of the whole process, and it could be a couple weeks that he's been working on something, and he'll come to us and he'll say, this just isn't going to work. We're not going to be able to do this. But Mark is our guru. I call him our public works guru, because if there's something that does need to happen, he makes it happen. He finds a way to pull those funds together so that we can enjoy the roundabouts and we can enjoy nice roads and we do enjoy the sidewalks. And over and above that, maybe something you're not aware of, as Director of Public Works, he also oversees our wastewater treatment plant, which is a huge system in and of itself with several employees that we have working there. He also oversees solid waste. Again, another big entity with lots of responsibility and people who work there, lots of people who work there. And then also our parks and streets. And I know a lot of us connect Nathan Salcina with that because he is our front man with that. He gets a lot of jobs done, but it is Mark who is the leadership behind that. It is Mark who makes those departments run as smooth as they do. So we just can't praise Mark enough. And Keith is absolutely right. Mark is somebody who actually stays late. When I first came on as a council member, when I would show up for the council meetings, he was in his office working. We'd all go to the meeting. I would leave. And when I left, Mark was sitting in his office. So yeah, so he has really given a lot to this community, and it has been selfless. It has been selfless. And Mark, we're very grateful to you for all that you have done.
So Mark, on behalf of Rotary and a grateful community, please step forward and accept this Paul Harris Award. Thank you so much for all the work you've done.
Well, I can't open. Yes, by all means, Mark, if you would like to speak.
Well, I will admit to being very surprised. It was a well-kept secret, and there were a lot of conspirators involved, obviously. So I have to say a number of things. This club has been special to me as well. You've invited me here many times to bend your ears talking about infrastructure in the city. And that's kind of a passion of mine, as you know, if anybody that's heard me talk about it. And it's been my privilege to serve here in the city. And your spirit of service spills over to others like me. I've been here a number of times and heard these presentations like tonight. And I look out over the audience here and I see people that make a difference every day. And that is special. Now, I'm going to say, I believe you're the best Rotary Club in the universe as well. But I've only worked with one other one, so please take that with a grain of salt. But no, I do believe that. You folks have kept Nathan in particular hopping over the years, because when you come up with these projects, and often there's something to benefit, you know, the people of Sedro Woolley, this building, for instance, the remodel of this building after its many years of service, the skate park, which is such a wonderful thing that was done here, all with volunteer labor and the funds that you raised. Many other projects I can think of. Now, my only complaint about those is you concoct them and you start them, but then we have to maintain them. But that's okay. That's okay. It has been a privilege for me to work for this city and to work with the quality of people that you all are. And I was really gratified to hear the things about the service that each of you adhere to here. And that's been my way of dealing with my project. I'm not a Rotarian. That you really did fool me by saying this was a Rotary Award for a Rotary member. I regret that to an extent, but you have to know when you do what I do, you have to be somewhat neutral in all that you do. And so I've never sought to do that, but it's not because I didn't want to, because I really admire what you do. And so I would just say, here's to another 100 years for this Rotary Club. And Keith already said it, and I'm just going to repeat. You have the best public works staff, I think, around. People that step up every day and do the hard jobs that need to be done. And you know, honestly, I could say that this is more Nathan's award than mine, and Kevin's, and Leo's, and all the men and women that work for them, because they're really what does the job. You know, I can find some money every now and again to put a project together, and the good Lord gave me a little skill in planning these things, but none of that would happen if you didn't have the people that could actually do the work. Good example of that is Kevin Kesty's here today. And you know, any of you, you're all leaders, so you know this. Sometimes you don't know what's going on under the surface in your organization. So here about a month ago, I was driving around, as I occasionally can do, escape from that office that they've talked about me spending so much time in. I do have a contoured seat by now, by the way. And I happened upon Riverfront Park. And I looked over, I parked over by the caretaker's residence, and I noticed, oh, that looks like the old roof from the Rotary laying there. And I was thinking to myself, well, I know the guys are replacing some poles on that. And so I looked over, and there's Kevin and Brent Schiefelbein, and Lynn Tucker over there, the Rotary representative on that crew. And a pretty typical way Rotary projects are done, by the way. You buy the materials and participate a little bit, but you know, somebody has to finish them. Anyway, replacing some rotted poles in that building turned into a complete rebuild. And because Kevin is so talented at doing those things, he built a beautiful structure. And of course, it has your Rotary stamp on it because you paid for it. But that's what really makes this club and the people in the city and the other organizations you work with so special, and why Sedro Woolley is a special place, because you make it all work. You know, I heard it as the Sedro Woolley way. And I believe that's a right ethic to call it, but it's really more than that. It's people that deeply care about their community and making things happen. And so it's been my privilege to be a part of that. And I don't have a whole lot of time left here, but still some, and we're not done yet. We still have some more things to do. So you can expect a few more delays on the road and a few more holes to walk around before it's all over with. And you know, when I'm gone, you're going to get somebody better than I am. And that's the good thing. You can always find somebody to take these things and take them to the next level. So thank you so much.
Okay, and Mark, we also have a lapel pin you can wear on your coat that recognizes you as a Paul Harris Award winner. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I would like to call John Janicki, who will recognize our next award winner.
Thank you, Mike. You did a really good job explaining the Paul Harris, so I don't have to go over that. It's kind of fun to try to figure out who I'm talking about. And so this person is very friendly and kind. So half of you guys are out. So this person is very creative and very generous with their time. Turn it up, right side up. She is an extraordinary volunteer. She volunteers for the Royal Family Kids Camp. That's for foster kids. I've been up there. She volunteers for the Rotary Club and all the activities. She's a great Rotarian. And she has another look, quality that's really good that only I know. And her boss, John Janicki, doesn't really listen to a lot of people at work. And so this person has a way of gently saying, John, this person's freaking out at work and they need a little help and the things are going in chaos. And if you did this and this and this and this, things would be a lot better. And 100% of the time, she is correct. So this person is absolutely service above self. She's jumped into every single Rotarian thing that we've needed to do. She's just a joy to be around. And I consider her a dear, dear friend. And I'm so excited to announce that Sheena Birds is going to be our next recipient of the Paul Harris Award.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Hang on, Sheena, hang on. I got a hug too. Now, the one thing I got to add about Sheena is Sheena's been on the board for the last 2 years, and Christine Kilcup is stepping up to be our incoming president-elect. And Sheena gladly signed on to become the secretary in place of Christine. And I don't know, the secretary is it's not a thankless job, but it's a job that's not recognized very much. It's a very important job because this is the person that does all the paperwork and makes sure that, you know, everything happens for Rotary to keep us chartered as a club. And Sheena just said, yeah, I'll do it. So Sheena, that's what this is all about. And finally tonight, I'd like to call Tim Howland up, who is going to present our next award. Tim?
I don't tend to say a lot, so this will be a little bit shorter. Anyway, Rotary International recommends 7 pillars of service: promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, serving mothers and children, supporting education, which is a personal favorite, growing local economies, and supporting the environment. Looking over our previous Paul Harris Fellows, you can see their contributions often hit these areas, if not multiple areas. Sedro Woolley does not give this award to recipients. It's earned. They put in the time, they put in the effort, and they produce results. Our next honoree has a long record of being a member of our community and making a difference, most notably in the support of education, both in personal contributions and by helping various organizations, including Rotary, raise money for a number of student assistance programs. Besides being a key member of the Sedro Woolley Rotary Foundation Auction Committee, which raises funds for the scholarships, dictionaries for our 3rd graders, and numerous other contributions to the Sedro Woolley and Concrete school districts, she now serves on the Sedro Woolley School Board. An exemplar of our motto, service above self, I am proud to add Danny Baird Russell as a new Paul Harris honoree.
Thank you. I'm short and sweet like Sheena. Thank you. One more thing. Rotary has always been a part of my life in terms, I didn't grow up in Rotary, but Rotary gave me a scholarship. I was recognized as a student of the month. And when Christine approached me to join Rotary, of course, I said yes. And my only goal in joining Rotary is to leave my community better than I found it. So thank you for being on the team and allowing me to be a part of your team. So.
Okay, let's see what's next here. So I know Rich is not here. This is normally be a time for the past president to give a farewell speech, but do we have something that you're going to read, Phil? So Phil's going to read a speech written by Rich Wyrick.
Rich sent out an email Wednesday night. How many of you saw that email? Raise your hand. That's more than I expected. But I wanted to read the email because I think it kind of hit the point of Rich's presidency. He said, "Good evening. Wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your support during my year as Rotary president. This truly is the greatest Rotary club in the universe. What a year as Sedro Woolley Rotary turned 100 years old. When a person becomes the head of an organization, they have great goals, and I was no different than others. Do we reach all of those goals? Usually not, but as long as we leave the club in a little better place, we can call it a successful year, and that has been what I believe we have accomplished. The last couple of years have been difficult times with the pandemic, but I believe we are getting back to normal life in the club and our personal lives, and that is progress. In the past year, we saw the dedication of Patrick's Playground, due in large part of hundreds, if not thousands of hours of many dedicated Rotarians. What a great celebration it was, and showed the can-do attitude of our club that went on during Mike Mosier's term as president when we were not meeting live. We came back and continued with a great salmon barbecue to keep that tradition going, with a great number of our members working to make it a great success. We were able to resume the Christmas party, again, a longtime Rotary tradition, and as part of that, raised a handsome sum of money for helping hands and those less fortunate in our community. We put on a virtual auction that was a great success and allowed us to take care of some of the needs of the community and allowed us to purchase a new sound system for the community center. But like many other things from the pandemic, shipping delays have prevented its installation. It's on its way, it's coming. It will be coming. It will make the meetings much more enjoyable and allow everyone to participate and hear and understand what is going on. I can't wait. There are several projects in the community that make this an even better place to work, live, and play. Work was done at the Boys and Girls Club, Riverfront Park, and other locations. The future is bright for Sedro Woolley and its Rotary Club. We saw many great students come through our Students of the Month, reinforcing that the future is bright. Our attendance has gradually gone up, and I look forward to continuing the rise under President Phil. I want to thank my board who helped me guide me and the club through a year that was different than others due to the fact that we were coming out of the pandemic. They were truly rocks that supported me, by extension, all of you. Their hard work and dedication will never be forgotten by myself. They are truly the unsung heroes of Rotary, who show up, do their jobs without fanfare and credit. To all of the committee heads, thank you for your hard work, because without your dedication, the things I mentioned would have not been possible. Top of the year was our tremendously successful 50th annual auction. We raised over $200K net that can now be put into good use in our community. I want to personally thank Tim Howland for his dedication in making this happen. I think this was just the thing to show that we made it through the pandemic stronger than ever as we look forward to the second 100 years of the Sedro Woolley Club. Special mention should be made of Les Huggins, who've been a member for the club for 50 years and was honored at our auction. Congratulations, Les. I want to let you know that I am sorry I have been unable to be at the last few meetings of my term, as I took care of some health problems that involved surgery and has kept me down for the several weeks. Things went well, and I'm hopeful to rejoin all of you in the very near future. Thank you again for entrusting me with the presidency of your club, and I hope I have been an adequate caretaker of the office. God bless you and all of your families and loved ones. Rich.
Okay, so Phil, don't sit down. On the agenda here is, it's your time to talk about your plans for the upcoming year. President Phil Brockman, right here.
Well, I did write some things down. I have some notes. I thought I put it in big enough font so I can read it without my glasses, but I didn't. So here we go. Thank you. This is such an honor and privilege that all of you have given me. I would like to start by acknowledging the great work that Mike Mosier and Rich has done to sustain our club programs and initiatives. Rich really spelled it out with his email to us Wednesday night. These two individuals have had two of the most challenging years in recent memory. Through Zooms and virtual auctions, you've set the bar high for me. So thank you and job well done. Thank you, Installation Committee. Ellen, I know, is not here. She's in New York. She did a lot of the work. Becky right over there did a lot of the work, and we had everybody else come and set up, Mayor and others. And so thank you for putting this on tonight. What I love about the greatest Rotary Club in the universe is that we support our community. We support youth with scholarships. We partner with other organizations like the city and the school district. We support nonprofits, Helping Hands, YMCA, Boys and Girls Club. We support international projects, wells and clean water and sanitation, schools in Copan, business development, general health, the eradication of disease, polio. And it's not just general support, but support that recognizes other people's compassion and care for others, such as Patrick's Playground and our adopted school in Copan and Helping Hands. I love the Sedro Woolley Rotary because we welcome all people in our community. In addition to business and industry, we allow educators, engineers, architects, farmers, nonprofits, medical practitioners, and you've heard this before, even politicians and lawyers. Seriously, I love Rotary because we are about service to others, service above self. Great examples are our Paul Harris Award winners tonight. Each of our winners have given back to the community in many, many ways. Congratulations to our Paul Harris Award winners. Thank you, Mark. I look at Mark and I think of my days at the superintendent. Every month we met, he talked about all these projects. I mean, they'd go out 10 years sometimes, trying to figure out how are we going to do, how are we going to work together, safe schools, safe projects, sidewalks. Thanks, Mark, for all your service. It was great working with you. We are celebrating 100 years, so I have a few goals. I think we need to have 100 acts of service. We have 96 members. The Burlington Rotary, they hit the paper the other day or a couple of weeks ago, I think it was 104. I'm going to challenge everybody. I think we can do 110. 110 acts of service. I think we need to put a restroom over at Janeke Field. We've been talking about it. The restroom Janeke will help out with Patrick's Playground, with ball fields over there, partnering with the school district, and we'll get that project done. President Rich, every month we talked about a pickleball court. He wants a pickleball court so bad. Remember, it's the state sport, right? So we need to have a pickleball court. I've talked to Brett Greenwood over at the school district. He's ready to go with this. We even have a location looking at Central, the tennis courts over there. He says we can put the nets up and down and around, but I think we need to put a pickleball court together for Rich. Maybe we can partner with the city. Membership. We have 96 members. Let's hit 100. We can hit 100. We can do that. We can do that. The auction, we had a little over 200K, 210, 212. We can hit 225, maybe 250 this next year. And our social events. So besides the barbecue, I think we need to have quarterly social events. Bowling, fireside chats, bingo, golf, bowling. So my wife and I, Tamara, we went bowling with our grandkids the other day. They beat us, and they're only 7 and 5. So we need to go do more bowling. There you go. I'd also like to recognize our board, Tim Lair, Tim Hallen, Chris Johnson, Sheena Burns, Jada Trammell, and Josh Requa, in addition to Steve Huggins and Christine Kilcup. They're the unsung heroes that was mentioned earlier. They're there presenting our budget, presenting our minutes, of the board members. So thank you for you being part of our board. And I'd like to welcome Adrian Santangelo and Chad Paulson as new board members. Thank you for saying yes. Looking forward to meeting with you. We do have one item of business to take care of. Tim Hallen has informed me that he is resigning from the board. And so he's busy doing lots of other things, auction chair and everything else. So I'm going to call this meeting to order real quick. Is there someone out there that would nominate Ken Van Loo to replace Tim? John Janeke, is there a second? Stephanie, we got you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ken, you're officially a member of the board. Yes, too late. Sorry, Ken. I'll change it in mine. That's the official one. Yeah. So once again, serving as president for the greatest Rotary Club in the universe is an honor and a privilege. And I thank you for this honor and privilege. The bar's been set high. I hope I live up to it. Thank you very much.
Okay, one thing about Rotary is we are flexible with our schedule and our agenda because I think we had a Paul Harris winner, maybe we thought wasn't going to show up, but they are here. So I'm going to call on David Brecka to come up here, and he's got 5 minutes to do this. We've seen you talk, David. Come on. Okay, 6. David Brecka right here.
Hello, everyone. What a great evening. Congratulations, Phil. You're going to do a great job. I'm really excited for the year ahead. And just one note about the story that Mike told about us being sold as slaves. I remember, I was at my dad's work. I was a student. I just kind of droned along. And there were just a couple times that I remember him coming up to me during school. I was like, oh, what have I done? And one of those times was when he came up to me and didn't give me the option, but he said, you're going to be auctioned off at our Rotary auction, you and Mike Janicki, and you're going to go work at someone's house for a long time. And that's one thing that's in the pin, the diamond pin, the only diamond my dad owned. I remember him talking about that and then about that. So us being slaves. Crazy. So there's been a little, ordering Paul Harris fellow pins. It's kind of tricky, and there was a glitch in something. A period wasn't dotted. So, but I'm really excited here. I'm going to take off my pin right here, and I'm going to present this as a placeholder for the person who I'm going to call up here in just a minute. So the person I have the honor of welcoming into the Paul Harris Fellowship is someone that knows how to communicate all the things we need to know about everything, every day, all the time. This is what she does, and she does it with grace and skill. I met this person when she moved to town with her husband in the early 2000s and was delighted when she joined our club in 2005. I consider her a dear friend and know that we can solve the world's problems every time we chat on the phone. So Ruth Richardson, you know this is about you. So I really want to thank Vince for helping me get her here, because you were on vacation until the other day. And so it was like, okay, come on, get here, get here, get here. So it is a pleasure to name you Ruth Richardson as a Paul Harris Fellow. And I'm going to pin this on you until you get your pin, okay? And then we can make a trade-off. I'd probably want yours because mine's a little tarnished. And I'll take your new one, okay? She can have my speech too, right?
So I threw out my back, so I wasn't sure if I was going to come tonight. So that's probably why. Thank you so much. And I always talk too much, so I'm not going to do that tonight. Thank you.
All right, let's see what we got here. So yeah, this is called the installation dinner. So we're finally at the installation part. How about that? So I'm going to call on Judge Brian Stiles to come up here and do the installation of our president and new board. Brian Stiles. Gosh, you're short, Brock.
Happy 4th of July to everyone. Hopefully you all have a good weekend. Say, before we do the installation, I want to recognize for the club some officers and board members that are leaving the various roles. And I'd like these people to stand up and receive some recognition for that. Past President Mike Mosier. We have Club Director Sheena Burns and Chris Johnston. Secretary Christine Kilcup. And apparently Dr. Tim Howland. Thank you, Doctor. So let's install our new officers and board members for this year. When I call your name, please come forward. We're going to swear you in bank, and then we'll separately swear in our new president this year. So the following people, please come up. Is there a spot where you want them for your video or Zoom? Do you want them behind the dais here to get them on the, no? So you can pick your spot where you want to come up, I guess. Christine Kilcup is president-elect. Sheena Burns as secretary. Right in front of everybody. There you go. Oh, it's going to be a fun year from now, right, Christine? Huh? Chad Paulson is a club director. And Adrian Santangelo is club director. These are your new folks you're going to have leading the club. The members that are continuing in their roles, Stevie Huggins is treasurer. How long have you been treasurer, Steve? 6 years? Wow, I'm impressed. That's a lot of work. Ken Van Loo is the foundation director. I question that selection, Phil. I really do. We'll see how it turns out. Tim Lear, I don't know if Tim's here tonight. He's going to foundation director. Jada Trammell is the club director. Not here. Josh Requa is the club director as well. And of course, Rich Wyrick is immediate past president. So I need all of you to raise your right hands, please. Nope. Phil, you're separately. Christina, are you ready? You're not president yet. Please, each of you say I and then your name. Go sit down. And repeat these words. Somebody help Ken, please. Do solemnly pledge that I will fulfill the duties of my office in the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley. Am I going too fast for you, Ken? All right. To the best of my ability, that I will support President Brockman, and I will abide by our club's constitution and bylaws. Well, we got half of them, didn't we? Huh? That was a test. So Ken, maybe Tim, Dr. Howland, we need you back. I'm sorry. Thank you. Congratulations, folks, the new officers in Rotary Club Board of Directors. Phil Brockman, if you come forward, sir. I'm going to have this so maybe they can hear you actually.
Okay.
Get out of the way.
Okay.
You stand right over there, maybe.
Okay, Judge.
Perfect. Phil, raise your right hand if you would, sir. Say, I, Phil Brockman,
I, Phil Brockman,
do solemnly pledge
do solemnly pledge
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President
the office of President
of the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley,
of the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley,
and that I will do to the best of my ability
and I will do to the best of my ability
support the district governor
support the district governor
and Rotary International,
and Rotary International,
and that I will uphold the Constitution
and I will uphold the Constitution
and bylaws of this club.
and bylaws of this club.
Congratulations, Phil.
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you, everybody. I've already read my speech, so I don't have anything further to say other than to thank my wife, Tamara, for being with me. I think it'll be 39 years in August. So I've dragged her all over the place, and she's still here. So thank you, Tamara. And thank you once again for all of your help and support. It's an honor and a privilege. I'm looking forward to working with our board to get some great things done for this next year. Thank you very much.
Well, guess what? We're almost finished here. So, Becky, is there something else we need to do? Okay, we do need help with putting the tables away. I think the tablecloths will probably need to be set aside for the staff to be able to take those, but are we presenting something else? Okay, guess what? We got a gavel to present.
I gotta put some glasses on. Yeah, you are short. Put some glasses on so I can actually read what it says. The Rotary theme this year is Imagine Rotary. So this will be put on the front of the dais and displayed every week. That will be for Phil. Now, this gavel has been around since, 1922, I believe, yeah. And every president has their name on here with a theme. Now, I gotta find, Phil's on here somewhere. Oh, maybe you're on the end, because that's where I'm, whacking head. For example, the outgoing president picks a theme. I got nothing to say there. Rich's theme was Sentence to Service Above Self. Now, as the outgoing president last year, I got to pick that for Rich. So Rich picked for Phil, it says President Phil Brockman, 2022 to 2023, supporting education for Rotary success. So Phil, this is for you. Use it as you see fit. If you need it, bring meetings and get people in line, have at it.
Yeah, we'll get those. I think we're done. So now I think we're done. So please help pick up the tables, stack the chairs. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Go out and do some good works. Thanks a lot.